What's up, everyone? This is Crobat, and I have a few Ubers matches from Pokemon Showdown earlier today for you guys with my friend Niiick. He's not actually here, but he was my opponent, and we played some Ubers. Let's just start the battles. I decided to lead off with my Dialga, who is a very powerful lead, and I want to get some damage off on this Mewtwo since it is a very large threat, so I just go straight for the Fire Blast. Now, he goes into his Terrakion. I'm not sure what he was expecting, but I missed the Fire Blast, which is annoying, and I am expecting him to go for either the Close Combat or the Stone Edge, so I go to my Sub-Calm Mind Giratina and take that, right? No, he gets a crit. So he doubles into his Ferrothorn, and I just go into my Dialga because I didn't want to take Stone Edge. He knows I have Fire Blast, so he decides to switch out. He goes into his Kyogre. I just set up rocks knowing that he'll go into his Kyogre. He kills me with a Water Spout. I go into my Shaman to try and threaten him out so I can have a free chance to set up a substitute. Now he goes into his Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, under ordinary circumstances, walls the crap out of Shaman, and even under this circumstance. But the least I can do is try to hack him to death. So that is what I do. I do not flinch him on the first Air Slash. He ends up setting up his rocks, and he switches out into his Kyogre. I go for the Air Slash again, hoping to hopefully get some flinching / critting action. I do not, so that kind of sucks. I go for the Seed Flare, knowing it will kill the Kyogre, and I know because of his team and what I've already seen from the Terrakion that his Kyogre is likely Specs, and that the Mewtwo is Scarf. Knowing that he's Scarf, I just decide to stay in and get some damage on him, you know, not wanting to waste a sub. I do a decent chunk with Seed Flare. I get special defense drop, though it doesn't really come into play. He switches out, I guess thinking that maybe... Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking. He could have killed me. He goes into Latios for some reason, as I go into my Giratina to just kind of take the hit and get a free switch into my Zekrom. And I know he's going to switch into his Ferrothorn. I could have gone for the Volt Switch, which I actually do have on that Zekrom. It is a Scarf Zekrom. But for some reason, I just hard switch into Tentacruel. It does end up working out, though if it didn't, that could have been one of the dumbest plays I've ever made. I hard switch into Tentacruel. I decided to try to set up some Toxic Spikes to just help whittle down Mewtwo and Arceus and Terrakion, but he goes straight into Mewtwo. I thought he would possibly maybe go into Arceus, since that was a very risky switch in, since I could have gone for the Ice Beam or Scald on the switch and taken him out. I do not want my Tentacruel to die, so I just go into my Kyogre's Death Fodder, since Kyogre really can't do much. It is a Specs Kyogre, and looking at his team, it really won't be doing any work. I go into my Zekrom. This is when I figure out that he is actually a Scarf Mewtwo, as he hits me with the Side Strike and does a huge chunk. I Volt Switch, wanting to maintain the momentum, and I go into my Shaman Sky. Now, his options for dealing with Shaman are Latios and Ferrothorn and Arceus, and he goes into Terrakion. And of course, I have no idea why he does this. I decide to set up a substitute, hoping that maybe he will Stone Edge and miss, but it doesn't really work out. I know I am faster, so I just keep trying to substitute. He does miss Stone Edge on that turn, so I can either A, kill him, or B, try to stall him out. I just decide to kill him using Seed Flare. Now, he goes into his Arceus on this next turn, which kind of confused me, and he shows me that he's an Arceus Dark. Now, Arceus Dark, under normal circumstances, is, well, a Stall Breaker. And I'm wondering why he would bring this in. And it turns out he has Extreme Speed, but it does absolutely nothing to my Shaman. So that's interesting. But I can just keep sitting here and stalling him out. I have a feeling he's going to Extreme Speed again. I could have set up another substitute, which I probably should have, but it would have just led to a lot of stall, which is not what I wanted to have. So I just decided to kill him off with the Air Slash. He brings in Latios. I switch into my Tentacruel's Death Fodder, which was also a bad move. I could have easily kept it alive, maybe used Ice Beam to help deal with things, I don't know. I could have kept it alive. I could have used Ice Beam to do a lot of damage to this Latios to make it easier to deal with. I could have sacked Zekrom, which it really isn't that useful. I could have sacked Shaman, which I did want to keep alive to try to see if I could beat that Ferrothorn, but it was not the best play I could have done. I go into my Shaman, and at this point, I basically lost. So I try setting up a substitute for some reason. I guess maybe he would go for the Draco, but he just goes for the Safe Thunder. And this is when I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I lost. Air Slash, hope to get some hacks, but I don't because my luck with getting hacks with any Pokemon is horrible. So I send in my Zekrom. I can at least try to get the kill on the Latios, which I can. And this is pretty ironic at the end because I'm like, hey, maybe I can crit the Ferrothorn. Can I get a crit? Can I get a crit? I actually do get a crit. It doesn't matter one bit, but at least I do get a crit. So that was the first game. Now, the second game is a little bit more interesting because, I mean, it's a much faster game, and yeah, it's less boring. So let's get into this game. He leads off his Deox speed as I lead off with the same Dialga I had last time. He goes for the T-Wave, and he gets rid of my Lumberry, which I don't really care about since he has no Sleep Inducer. I really don't need Lumberry. I Dragon Tail him out, and I bring him into his Giratina. I thought he would switch out fearing the Draco, so I just set up rocks. He wasn't, and I thought he would stay in on that turn, thinking that I would go for the Dragon Tail, predicting him to go into his Arceus. So I didn't go for the Dragon Tail, I just went straight for the Draco, and it didn't really work out. Went for the Dragon Tail on that turn, as the Arceus went for the Recover. He kills me for an Earthquake, because I was expecting him to switch an Arceus again, imagining him not wanting to take a hit. And I miss Draco Meteor on that Giratina. That was a pain. He got off the Dragon Tail and did a huge chunk of my Rayquaza, which... that's just so annoying. I bring in my, Ferrothorn, and I start trying to stall out this Arceus, and doesn't really work out. He has Flamethrower, does a lot of damage. I use Leech Seed. He switches out. We both switch out. I end up getting the better hand in that switch because he's on his Deoxys. Since I'm in on my Specs Ogre. He can switch nothing in on this, so he's forced to sap his Deoxys. It would have probably just been Death Fodder anyways, but you get what I mean. And I don't know, I guess he was trying to bait another Surf because I can kill him at that range, but I didn't want to do that, so I go back into my Rayquaza, go back into my Kyogre, because Rayquaza dies from rocks. I don't have a spinner, would have been pointless to keep it alive. Go back into my Kyogre, and I know Water Spout outcoasts everything on his team, including this Groudon, so I just decided to Water Spout everything. I'm not sure why he does that. I'm sorry. Not sure why he does this. He tries setting up in my face. I really don't know what his plan was there. I just don't. And right here, I was really surprised because I thought I would outspeed this Ho-Oh, thinking he was maybe the defensive tank set and kill it. But it turns out he is actually a jolly 4 moves Ho-Oh. Yeah. So I go into my Arceus, I kill him with a Judgment, he goes into his Mewtwo. I don't want to deal with Mewtwo, so I just go into Ferrothorn's Death Fodder. And I have Kingdra as my only Pokemon other than Arceus. I need to keep Arceus alive to hopefully be able to deal with that Giratina O, because I'm feeling it might have Shadow Sneak. So I bring in Kingdra, and I go for the Draco on the Mewtwo, because I knew I could take one hit. But he actually goes into his Giratina and lets it die. So now I can just bring in my Arceus on this Mewtwo and kill it, but I end up living from that range of HP with Kingdra and doing a huge chunk with the Draco. So now Arceus has even less trouble. It just has to come in, survive, and attack, hopefully not get a crit on it, and kill the Mewtwo. That will be the end of the 2 games. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if this narration was kind of bad or dull. This is my first narration I've ever done. So I hope it wasn't bad. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time, I guess. See ya. Bye. Stuff.